I'm Lola, and I guess I'm one of Pat's close friends. I've known her since college. She was the closest thing I ever had to a sister, and you know, she came into my life at a really great time. I really needed a sister at that time. I was going to wear a Todd shirt today because she would have, and I forgot to pack it, but she would have wanted me to. But it's because of Pat that I know about Todd Rundgren, I think, and that I'm such a big Todd fan, and I've had several opportunities to see him and meet him because of her. It's because of Pat that I live in Tucson, because she bugged me till I came out for a visit, and the desert got in my soul. So, you know, those two things can never be taken away. I remember, meeting Pat, I was in college, I was at Millersville, and it was probably 1971, and I was hanging out with a guy named Dave Beam, and he's the first person I met, and we were at the Student Union Center, and we were sitting somewhere, and he goes, "Hey, Pat's down there, let's go sit with Pat." And I said, "Okay." So we went down, and we just started talking, and it was just this immediate connection, and all I knew is that I felt happy whenever I was in her presence. She just always made me feel happy. She was always upbeat, always laughing. She had this full-throated, gleeful laughter that if you know her, you know this laughter, and it was infectious. She then, through all of that, I got to meet this quirky group of people that a lot of people at college called the Cosmic Commies. I don't know if you know that. Two members of that group are in here today. JB and CA, don't ask me why we go by the initials, but that's what they were doing. So this quirky group, really artsy, loved music, loved being as weird as we could be and stretching the boundaries of this and that. And it was a great place for a small town girl from Akron, Pennsylvania to be. I just like, so we would do stupid things, you know, we were like 18, 19. Just two things I want to talk about. We used to have this thing called the duck show. We'd all pile, we were living in, I think she was living in Manor House apartments, and we'd all pile into one of the bedrooms, and the bedroom had an adjoining bathroom. Someone had stolen, liberated a plaster duck. And so there would be two people in the bathroom. One person had the duck, another person worked the light. Everybody else was sitting on the floor in the bathroom, so you would hear, the door would open and you hear this, and then the door would be flung wide open, and then the lights would go on, and someone would do this screeching. And we thought it was the most hilarious thing in the world. We were 18 and 19, probably a little mood altered. So there was that.
Now we get it.
We had, we just did stupid stuff, and we thought we were all that. And then another thing that we would do, is we'd stay up all night, and then we would go to the farmer's market in downtown Lancaster and just hit the farmer's market and get stuff. And those were just two of the many, many things that we did that kind of forged, I don't know, this connection and this allegiance that lasted a lifetime. Pat was in my maid of honor in two of my weddings. There's a story about that, but we don't need to go into that. Her brother Joe performed both of those weddings too. Pat also loves my current husband very much too. His name is Paul. She was not the maid of honor at that wedding, but that not because she wouldn't have been. When my daughter Gretchen was born, I had started to go into labor, and Gretchen's dad and I decided to go to the hospital, and Pat came down and hung out with my mom, and they baked a chocolate cake while I was out there in labor. So when we came home, there was a chocolate cake there that they had made, but they kept each other company, and that really meant a lot to me too. Through the years, I leaned on her a lot. I was always having some kind of angst, and she was always supporting me, and I've slept on her sofa many times, and she has stayed with me several times in her life. There was a time when, before she met Camille, she lived in my attic in my house in Pennsylvania. They threw a mattress on the floor, and they were there for a while, and it was great fun. And as Camille said, when she went to the U of A, she stayed in my spare room like the 3 or 4 days that she was up in Tucson. And Paul and I would come home, and she wasn't just hanging out. We'd come home, and there would be plates that rivaled Cafe Poca Cosa, just like colorful Mexican presentations of food, and she would have this prepared for us, and we had a great time. We watched a lot of Wildcat basketball during that time as well. Oh yeah, I may be a Wildcat basketball fan because of her now that I know. So I don't know. As I said, she was really, really supportive of me, and she got me through a lot of stuff, because she was a wise woman, even when we were 19 and 20. And when I was looking for some pictures and stuff for Will, I went in my trunk, and I have a shoebox of letters that she wrote to me, probably over the span of 10, 15 years. So I have all these letters, and I found a poem that she wrote to me when I was going through something. And it's dated May 18th, 1972. And she says, "To Lova, with hope that this will make sense to you." And this is what it says. You remember, we were like 20. Okay? But she goes, if I can read. "Always remember that each day, each moment, you have the power to pause and to decide that you are going to start over. No previous decisions need necessarily to be permanent. It is only yourself that you can really contradict, and you do have that right. In personal relationships, there is no such thing as an obligation to perform in a special manner. It is rather the spontaneous that should be sought for. All action and emotion should be spontaneous to the present moment, not based on actions and emotions of a moment past. Optimism is a catalyst between people that is capable of producing great spurts of understanding. And what else is love between people than just such an electric reaction? So, just sit back, forget, smile, be bright, and let it happen." I'm really gonna miss this brilliant, capable, generous, loving, upbeat, and hopeful woman.